I'm a grateful believer in Christ. They call me Chuck Taylor because that's my name. What's up, family? Listen, so I want to talk about a few things, but first, Zach, I got close because I never know what he's going to say. Just in case I had to elbow him coming down the steps, I wanted to be close enough to get him. Zach, you never felt that way before because you never met a man like me. And it's not that I'm somebody special, it's that our literature in NA says, if you want what we have to offer, you're willing to make the effort to get it and you're ready to take certain steps. I wanted what I saw in the men who God had me walk with early in my recovery. And I did what they said. You know, this disease we suffer from, so one of the things got put on my heart, and I heard it several times, right? Well, my clean date is August 20th, 1994. Have not had a reason to go back at all to any chemical for anything. Even facing surgery, I took what I had to. No, I took less than what I had to because it meant that much to me because I saw other people get caught up in pain medicine. So I haven't had a reason to go back. This disease we suffer from, so when we're talking about getting people involved, right, the people who we affect the most are the people who resist the most. This is not just about drugs and alcohol. It's not just about behaviors. It's not just about how we act or what we think. It's about our lives and the people who we affected. But the people who we affected don't think they have a problem. If you are one of the people who was affected in any manner and don't think that you need help, just think about how you helped that addict or that alcoholic, or that person with mental health issues, or that person who has issues unexplainable in what you did to not watch them fail, and they failed anyway, and how it affected you. The pain of not being able to control somebody who's not in control of themselves for years at a time does damage just like the person is using. So I talk to a lot of people, men and women, who are spouses of people in recovery. Not to show them that they've done something wrong, not to show them that they are the problem, but to show them they're part of the solution. Take your time, I'm catching my breath. I'm catching my breath. Take your time. Thank you. You're welcome. Because in being part of the solution, you buy into the process. If you've been affected and are being affected by someone in recovery, you should think about a process that works for millions of people for years now. Being able to know their process and how they're moving will help you to see that you need a process as well. And I can speak from experience. My daughter was raised in a Christian home and in a recovery home. I raised her right. And I raised her right. And she's in recovery, but she struggled. I knew enough to not support her as her dad. I loved her as her dad. I support her as a recovering addict. There's some things I just can't do for her because it doesn't work. I can't get a sponsor for her, nor can I sponsor her. I can't question her recovery because it's her recovery. I can talk to her about how she affects me now in my house temporarily, but I can't tell her about how she affected me then. Because it's this guilt thing that we do. And as parents or spouses or men and women who support, hopefully, that struggling addict, that struggling person with mental health, whatever capacity they struggle with, we have to find our place too. And without a system in place, let me tell you about the steps. The steps are a systematic way to apply spiritual value and principles to our lives. So it works for everybody, not just the person in recovery, everybody. And most people won't talk to other people about the mistakes they made with their child or their husband or their wife because it makes them look bad. No, it makes it look like you care and you didn't know how not to care. And that's all that happened. But over time, caring for somebody who has forgotten how to care about themselves does damage. So I suggest, if you know somebody, if you've been affected in any way, at least get close to people who are in this process. Listen to how they deal with life and their own hurts being on this side of the fence. Addiction is a disease, and it's a spiritual disease. And the only solution is spiritual in nature. There's no physical solution. There's no medicinal solution. There's no psychological solution. Now, you might need psychology. Listen, 31 years in, I still check in. And for the last 6 months, I've been seeing my psychologist regularly. With 31 months in, I saw a psychiatrist who said, Chuck, you don't need medication because you have good coping skills. What are they? I said, I'm glad you asked. First of all, this relationship with Christ I have. Second of all, I have a 12-step program that I've practiced for the last 30 plus years. And I learned how to share openly and honestly about who I am. I was talking, I think might have been Matt. I was talking to somebody earlier. I don't remember. No, it was Kenny. And no, the ladies back there at the table. It's not as relevant that our past has molded our present as it is that our present is molding our future. Some of the stuff that's wrong with me is a result of where I come from. And some of it still affects me. Some of the stuff that I walk through still, even though I've gotten better with it, it still shows up in my thinking. So it's a part of my past still molding my present. But what's more relevant is that my present is molding my future. Every decision I make today, I make as if it's going to affect everybody I love. I have to. Because my mind still says, I remember saying to one of the men that sponsored me, I said, they don't know who I am. He said, then why don't you tell me then? I was ready to do some harm. I said, man, they don't know who they playing with. He said, you tell me who they playing with. Because this is who I know. And he began to describe what he saw in me. And I'm thinking, wait, that's not what I was thinking. He said, no, you were thinking of who you used to be. When we change, we have to let go of the reins that held us hostage for most of our lives. I'll give you a good biblical example. Children of Israel, released from slavery, 400 years. You know how many generations 400 years is? A generation is about 20 years, right? About roughly you start having kids, 20, 30 years, 400 years. They get freed. They're going on a mission. They had a legitimate gripe. We want to eat and we want water. Legitimate. This is what they told their leader. We should go back to Egypt. At least we had food and water there. Egypt wasn't the problem. Egypt was not their problem. Slavery was. Forced labor was. And we tell ourselves, well, at least then I had. And we begin to move in that direction, and in that way our past does mold our present. If we put as much weight on our present molding our future, we'll all grow together. This thing is so attractive. Zach and maybe 3 or 4 of the men I sponsor, and their consistency draws me in. Like I have to continue to work. If for nobody else, for me and for them. And all the people that they love. So in this process of recovery, what I've learned to do is submit myself to a higher authority. And I'm not talking about God. I'm talking about evidence of the principles working in other people's lives on a daily basis. NA literature says, just for the day says, tell yourself just for the day. Right? This helped me tremendously. What would I tell you if you were hurt? When nobody answers the phone, when I can't get in touch with my sponsor, I can't get in touch with a friend, I don't know what to do with what I'm feeling or thinking or what I want to do, what do I do then? Yes, and tell myself the same thing I would tell you if you were in my position. Yes, I have to say, what would I tell somebody who cares about me? in these same shoes, what would I tell you because I love you? And we have the capacity and the power to tell ourselves the same truth that we would tell anybody else we care about. I was looking at the bio, and there's several things on there that have changed since then. All good, all good. Zach, all the organizational heads who have histories in addiction and or mental health. Matt spoke of it. Being in position to help people who help people. I am a ministry center at my church, so there's several other ministries that fall under my care. I had them take leadership out of it when they talk to me. I get to care for people who care about people. Their job, prison ministry, other auxiliaries, the missionaries. We have a thing called Team 24. They care about everything that God made, and they go out and they do it. We bring people from all over the country in to show us how to live better with the land from my church. All of these people have people under them, and I get to care about them. They value who I am to them and what they care about. So wait. I ran a gang at 15. I ran, according to the Philadelphia Daily News, a major drug corner in the 80s. That's what they said. I was having fun. Not really, but in my mind. I got kicked out of everything I ever did. I have a violent background. I've been convicted of one thing, been to court for many. I have a violent background. And today, I get to care about people. Care about people. It's the process of recovery. So if you want what we have to offer and are willing to make the effort to get it, you're ready to take certain steps, it says these are the principles that made our recovery possible. But before we get there, it says there's one thing more than anything else that will defeat us in our recovery. One thing more than anything else. Does anybody know it? Can you take a guess?
Attitude of indifference.
Yes, or intolerance. One thing more than anything else, an attitude of indifference or intolerance towards spiritual principles, towards spiritual values. It's not that you don't do it or that you can't do it, it's your attitude towards it. So, intolerance actually creates indifference. Because when I feel like I can't, the heck with it. If you curse, you know what I was trying to say, so yeah, that. Yeah. My intolerance creates my indifference. If I think, being unable or unwilling to go through something. Today, what we do when we feel like we can't, we pick up the phone. Or we tell ourselves, or we talk to God. Yes. Which should be our first choice. Thank you. You want the microphone? No. She's going to come up here too. We have to get this systematic process in place sometimes just to get through the day. 31 years, y'all, and I still have to take it day by day. I enjoy not having the power to control my own life because somebody has to do it. So I let God do it, and he shows me through this principle practicing process that we call recovery. A recovery is an active change of my ideas and attitudes. That's why it affects people even in physical recovery from anything, surgery, injury, whatever it might be. What you have to understand is this. It's the attitude. Active change of my ideas and my attitudes. That means it never stops. So if you get a physical injury, there has to be an active change on how you move. You have to change your attitude about who you were before the injury. There's an active change of my ideas and my attitudes, and you don't have to have used any kind of drugs to need that. You just have to be willing to have an active, ongoing change about how I see things, how I view things, and how I feel about things. And active change means this change is ongoing. It's consistent. People say behaviors, but the truth is, if my ideas and my attitudes are continually changing, prayerfully growing, my behaviors don't stand a chance. When we talk about dealing with character defects, we're talking about people want to stop lying, stealing, whatever other thing they can attach to a defect of character, but it's called a defect of character, not a defect of behavior. So we go in becoming entirely ready to have God do something that's not even a problem. I want to stop. He said, no, I want you to be. I don't want you to stop because I can stop you if I want to. But if you become, the stopping is automatic. It's an active change. So when my ideas and my attitudes change, when I become entirely ready to have him remove what I'm lacking, there's a lack. In somewhere I read, it says self-acceptance. The lack of is a subtle defect. So wait, if my lack is my problem, and lacking self-acceptance is one, then lacking self-love might be another one, and lacking self-worth might be another one, that's not behaviors. That's the need to dig in and be real about what really needs to change. There's a lack that has to be filled that only God through this process can fill for us. If we stop here, I can stop doing stuff all the time. But I can also start going back to it as well. But if I allow God through this process to fill the lacks, then I have something solid to stand on. A lack of self-worth can be filled by anybody but God. And when I begin to see me as he sees me, I begin to see me differently. That lack becomes filled with a principle-based life. There is a lack that needs to be filled, not a behavior that needs to be changed. I stopped doing stuff all the time. I stopped lying like 25 times in my first 2 months clean. I ain't lying no more. I ain't doing that no more. And then my sponsor had me stop myself on the spot and tell the person I was sorry for lying to him. That helped me stop lying because it became a me problem. It became me seeing the need to control the conversation or draw the attention to myself. There was nothing wrong. I wasn't in danger. I just wanted to outwit whoever was. So in filling this lack, we find principles, and the principle there was surrender to your own mindset. You don't have to lie to get attention. You're in a place where people love you. If you don't remember anything else, remember the active change. Remember that our attitudes and our ideas are what needs the most, not our behaviors. Behaviors don't stand a chance. If I'm around people acting and living a certain way, I tend to pick that up. I'm going to tell this story and then I'm going to be done. Not too long ago, there was a place in India where young male bull elephants were killing people. They were just going through communities, ravaging them. They didn't know what to do. True story. They flew in mature bull elephants. So there were no mature bull elephants because they were killing them for their tusks. So they flew into another place, pulled them in one at a time, let them go, and the killing stopped immediately. The young bull elephants didn't know that that's not who they were. I tell people, we don't do that. Not you, we don't. So if you get with the herd, stay in the herd. If you can't do it yourself, watch us do it, and you'll want to. But it has to be bedrocked in the principles that we practice. I don't even know sometimes how I get to where I'm at by way of making good decisions, because I don't make them. I let the principles make them for me. Like those young bull elephants. All we need, stop hanging around people who struggle with everything you struggle with. If you're the smartest one in your crew, get some people in your crew who's smarter than you. If you're the most intelligent one, yeah, get some other people. If you're the most spiritual one, reach out. I have men, I'm around more men that help me than men that I help. I got a whole squad of people who get on my nerves on a regular basis because I can't deny who they are. I see them walking it out. They get on my nerves. Like, what did I do? I'm like, you just being you, man. Like, now I got to be like that. Because I see it. I know it's possible. I know recovery is real because I see y'all recovering. I see active change in your ideas and attitudes all the time. I talk to people regularly. And I can listen to the change. Zach always talk about what my sister, and that's my little sister Beth, if y'all didn't know. I just let my blonde hair kind of go to the wayside. Conversations, I've watched her mature into somebody she didn't know. I don't think she knew she had a problem. But when you listen to somebody's growth consistently, when I listen to Zach's growth consistently, I went over a first step with a man I've been sponsoring for 20 years. For 20 years. And we went through this first step. I listened to him, how he handles. He is in charge. He's pretty high up in the VHA. And I listened to how he handled issues that weren't his with people who was to, let's say, sponsorship families down the line. Let's say grand sponsee. He said, I didn't have to be there. But this is what I said. And I'm thinking, wow. We begin to see the change. And it's the change in the ideas and the attitude. But the behaviors can't exist. I want you to remember this. This is why this is for everybody, not just addicts. NA literature, Step Working Guy says this. We are powerless when the driving force in our lives is beyond our control. Our addiction certainly qualifies as such a driving force. It's not the only one. Your addiction can be a driving force in my life. My mates can be a driving force. My neighbors can be a driving force. My inability to accept personal responsibility is not always the disease. We're powerless when that driving force is beyond our control. That's why surrender is so important. We have to understand what we're incapable of doing on our own. We can do it, but I can't. If I didn't have y'all, this stuff wouldn't matter. It would not matter. But I have y'all. They say it's a family disease. I agree. But it's a disease for people who want it. If you want it, please, it's available. We got several organizations out here who would love to help you. You know, the biggest come up, I'll say for lack of a better term, but my mind's getting tired, that means it's time to stop. The biggest thing I love about helping people is the support I gain in the process. I got people, y'all. Like, no, I got real people, like, who like people. Like, yo, I got a problem. They show, it doesn't matter what it is. Where you at? How much time do we have? And they come. If I call you 2 o'clock in the morning, you know it's something wrong. If I call you back to back, I tell you all the time, yes, I'm busy. If you really want to talk, it don't have to be important to me. It has to be important to you. Call me right back. I see 2 missed calls, I'm calling you. I'll excuse myself. I'm retired now, but when I was working, I'm like, I have to take this. Give me a minute. It's still your appointment. And people understand. If I say I was a provider of sorts, not a doctor, ain't no money, don't get the wrong idea. And I tell you, I have to excuse myself, but I think about the other person on the other end to excuse themselves from me too. It works hand in hand. We are who we are. We do this, how we do it, one recovery at a time? Yes. One community, one person, one life. Good news is you don't only get one chance, but make this one work. This process works if you work it, right? But it works if you don't work it. It just won't work for you. You got to work it. Listen, that's real stuff. Oh, it works if you work it. That's true. But it works if you don't work it. It just won't work for you. It's a proven process. Don't blame us because you chose not to stay. We love you. We love you. Please buy into the process. Thanks for letting me share this time with y'all.